good, guys? It is Reed and welcome back to another video. Today we have a very special video. I'm going to be talking about 3 different false cut variations. Now, I love a good false cut. I'm going to show you a couple table variations. I'm going to show you an in the hands version. And these false cuts are something that you can just use and kind of infuse into your routines to help just kind of build a little bit more fairness and a little bit more unbelievability into your effects, right? So these are going to be some practical, very useful false cuts. My favorite false cuts that I use. If you would like to check out the false cut that I probably use the most, it's the 3-packet false cut that I taught years ago. But this is going to be some just single, simple false cuts that are absolutely awesome. There's a ton of false cuts out there, but these are some cool ones. Maybe you haven't seen a few of these before. If you are a table worker, you'll love some of these cuts for sure. And also, if you like to perform street magic and more practical magic, there'll be something in here for you. Let's not waste too much more time. If you guys would like to check out some private lessons, you can at the link below. And you can check out some channel memberships if you'd like. But with all that said, guys, let's not take any more time. Let's jump right into the video. All right, guys, so let's start with cut number 1. So the first 2 cuts I'm going to talk about are tabled false cuts. So at first we have the swing cut, and then we kind of have the regular cut where you're just cutting forward to the table. So I'm going to show you a false variation of each of those. So let's start with the tabled swing cut. So the regular tabled swing cut would look something like that. You're pulling the packet from the bottom and you're cutting it on top. Now, this is often something that when you're doing a series of false shuffles like this, you might end with. If these are false or even real shuffles for that matter, you might come like this, you know, square everything up and then execute a cut. Now, it's something that is best mixed in with other kinds of moves, you know, with some maybe regular shuffles in there if it provides it. So if you're trying to keep a card on top of the deck and you do some actual regular shuffles while just maintaining that card on top, and then you're going to come through and do the false swing cut like I just did there, keeping that card on top. So like you see, to give you an idea of what's happening, it's going like this, like that, okay? And you can see there's a couple of really great subtleties that are going on when I do this move, okay? Very important subtleties that really help to sell it. So let's talk about it. So first things first, what's gonna happen is with all of these cuts, you wanna see how it looks for real and practice it over and over to see what that actually looks like doing it for real, okay? And then you can try to mimic that. So the thing that's happening is we're pulling a card from underneath. It's swinging under, right? The card tilts down as it has to come out and over. That packet has to tilt. So now we need to mimic that with the top packet. So when you watch, I come back with this hand, and then this edge is gonna come up, and this edge is gonna come down as I pull it out, and then I swing it. I do like a circle and throw it on top. So now when I lift up this top packet, and all we're doing for this is we're just lifting the top packet, swinging it around, and throwing it back on top. So you're gonna lift, pull back, tilt it, swing around, and throw on top, just like I would here. Lift, pull back, tilt it, swing around, throw on top. Lift, pull back, tilt it, swing around, on top, right? Like that, or like that. Now, the only other thing that would, really helps to sell this, because if we're just doing this, I mean, it actually doesn't look terrible, especially if your other hand's here, but we need to create some movement, right? When I move this packet, this top packet has to fall to the table, right? It falls to the table. And that movement is what we're gonna replicate by using our middle finger here to lift that bottom packet. So as I pull this out and away, I'm gonna use this middle finger to just flick this packet up, just like that. Just a little thud. And that's what's gonna make it look like it came from the bottom and that this top packet is now falling closer to the table. When you combine those 2 actions at the same time, you get this beautiful false cut, all right? 3 of hearts on top, just like that. Now the biggest selling point is getting this. You can just practice just taking that top packet and mimicking that movement. You can do it for real from the bottom. Now obviously change this to mimic how you do the cut. If you don't tilt down as much as me or whatever, then do that. But I personally tilt down and come like this. So now when I want to do the false one, I want it to look the same, right? Lift up with the middle finger, and all of those were false. One idea that's pretty cool here that you can do is if you're combining this with a push through shuffle, right? So you're gonna push the packet through. So you have your push through packet here in the right hand. Now a lot of times people will just cut this regular and throw it on top. But if you think about it, you would really be, if that was a cut, it would be coming from the bottom like this, right? So now you do your push through, right? You have your edge here. Now you're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna strip it out And as you're coming back, you're just gonna flick this up and do that rotation and throw on top. And now it's just gonna look like we're shuffling the cards on our push through, right? And then we're just cutting the deck from the bottom like that, but that was a complete false shuffle. Now the regular tabled cut, which is something that just looks like this normally, is kind of the same principle. So now, with the other one, we were moving the bottom to the top. With this one, we'd be moving the top forward and then the bottom on top. So we kind of have to do the opposite to fake it. Instead of not doing anything, we need to now do something and then fix it, okay? Because in the last one, the bottom packet was being moved to the top. It's simple. So to undo that, we just don't do anything. With this one and the way the mechanics work, you need to have this motion of coming forward. And the only way to have that is to actually do it. So you now need to reverse the packets, so then you can now come forward and undo your cut. So the first one, you're not doing anything, and this one, you can think about it as you're cutting the deck and then undoing it. And it's just about hiding that initial cut. So how it looks is like this, right? So you just move forward and you just complete the cut, right? So there is a slight difference in the mechanics here. With this one, right, we come forward like this, you set it down. So the false version is exactly the same looking, all right? So if you haven't figured it out, what we're doing is instead of lifting this top packet and setting it down and then placing the bottom packet on top, we're just gonna place the bottom packet down and then place the top packet right back on top of it. So again, it's about selling this. So what do we wanna sell? We wanna mimic this come forward and place down. So how we're gonna do that is we're gonna grab the bottom packet. Now you wanna mimic this overhand grip, but it's hard to overhand grip the bottom packet. So you're gonna come, instead of gripping at the top here, you're gonna grip all the way at the bottom with this hand. Keep your middle finger on top, just as you would like with this. But the tip here is instead of putting the hands in the middle of the packet, you're gonna put them at the edge, right? Because you wanna be able to just, basically what's gonna have to happen, your thumb has to move out of the way so it can come forward. Right, so your thumb has to clear this packet. So if your thumb's all the way in the middle, it has to slide all the way out to here before it can come forward. So if it's at the edge, it just has to slide like this. So now you're gonna put these fingers here and then kind of curl this finger more over top to try to mimic that grip. So you're kind of just moving this slightly. But again, this is very minor. And then what's gonna happen is this is gonna pull this out, and then instantly it's gonna come forward, and the second it clears this packet, it's gonna come up like you're setting it down, right? So, because that's what we're mimicking, that set down. So like that, okay? So out and like that. Now on the other hand is very important because we're gonna get this drop of this packet again. So you're actually gonna press down with some pressure with this top finger and push this straight against the table instantly. So it helps really hide. If I don't do it, you kind of see that. If I do it, there's less to see, right? It goes down really quick. So you combine those actions, this kind of gets really hidden. So you come like this, and then you just come back and you cut as you normally would. Now again, this is something that happens very quickly, right? Mimic, that's the real cut. That's the false cut, right? Ace of hearts. False cut. Now if you're staring at it, again, you can kind of see that packet might be coming from the bottom, but again, in the context of a routine with other shuffles, when the spectator's not really looking, it's one of those things that happens really fast, really quick. It looks great from other angles too, right? And all of that is just a false cut, right? So that's what you're gonna try to mimic. Again, practice the regular cut so that you can know how your false cut needs to look, okay? Now the final cut is an in the hands swing cut. So we have our Jack of Hearts on top, and I will cut it into the middle, and it's still on top. Still on top. Still on top. So the key here again is just mimicking the swing cut. So the swing cut, you're gonna swing, and you're gonna throw that packet into the hand, and then drop this on top. So this, we're gonna split, we're gonna throw the bottom packet instead of the top packet, we're gonna throw it on top. Now we just have to look at what each hand do in a normal swing cut and mimic that. So if we start with the right hand, watch it swings this top packet over, and it comes down to clear the packet, and again pulls out and around. At least that's how I do it, right? Down and around, down and around. These are regular swing cuts. The other hand is gonna catch this packet. When it catches that top packet, it always kind of comes down a little bit. Down and around. It's kind of moving like this as it catches it. So now I just swing, right? And I throw the bottom packet. So with this left hand, I'm gonna kind of catch that bottom packet. With the right hand, I'm gonna dip and swing over. And at speed, you can get a really convincing false swing cut. So ace of spades, just like that. So I think this is kind of best used in like a control setting where a spectator might select a card, the 8 of hearts. You say, okay, we'll take the 8 of hearts and I'll cut it into the middle of the deck just like that, right? And then at this point you can maybe shuffle it or hand it out for a shuffle, even better. Hand it out for a shuffle like that and palm it away. But again, it's all about mimicking that action. So 10 of diamonds, and you say, okay, we'll cut it into the middle of the deck. And once you've done the move, right, the fake transfer, now just take this moment and really say, watch, you can see that card go right into the middle, right? This is what you want to sell. So you say, I'll cut your card just like that into the middle. So here we have the 10 of spades, and you say, okay, look, take your card, drop it right into the middle of the deck, and it's been controlled to the top. So those are the 3 cuts. Again, all fairly easy. All that it comes down to is watching yourself do the action for real, and then just mimicking that action, right, in each scenario to try to get each of those cuts to look as you would want it to. All right, guys, that is it for this video. Those are 3 awesome false cuts. We had a tabled false cut, a tabled sort of swing false cut, and then the in the hands swing cut. So let me know what your favorite is, guys. You know, there's different variations of these. The swing cut, you've also probably seen the cut where you do the swing cut and then you just tap it and then you set it back down in the original order. You know, that one you kind of needed sort of a table to do that to make it look convincing. So this is like completely in the hands. I think the guy called Slightly Obsessed on Instagram recently put out a clip of him doing false swing cut in sort of this way, and he's absolutely insane at it, way better than me, and like you can't even tell. But again, it's just him practicing making it look like his real cut. So anyway, let me know what your favorite cut is in this video, which one you'll be using. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, drop me a comment. If you'd like to check out some private lessons, you can with the link below, guys. And with all that said, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video.